You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about the Raiders and the Patriots. We've got two candidates out there for coaching jobs right now, and they are affecting. I mean, look, the Bears are in, the Jets are in. They believe on at least Mike Vrabel. Ben Johnson, on the other hand, I don't think he wants anything to do with the Jets. The Bears fans want him real bad. Some Patriot fans want him, and some Raiders fans want him. Some Raiders fans want Mike Vrabel. A lot of Patriot fans want Mike Vrabel. And a lot of Jets fans want Mike Vrabel. So that leads us to what is going on right now. All right. And there's a lot going on right now, particularly in light of the surprise firing of Tom Telesco. And that was done calculatedly by minority owner Tom Brady and Mark Davis of the Raiders yesterday. On Tuesday, the Raiders fired Antonio Pierce, but not Tom Telesco. 2 days into their coaching search, they fired Telesco. Conventional wisdom in NFL circles is that Telesco was fired to clear a path for the next head coach to hire his own personnel executive. Okay, so, and keeping in mind, that dude drafted Brock Bowers. I mean, an absolute home run that had arguably the greatest season in the history of seasons by any tight end ever. So it wasn't like the draft was a disaster or anything like that. Now, here's where you're at. The Raiders requested to interview Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, both of the Lions, which is interesting. I thought Tom Brady was in on Mike Vrabel, and maybe he is. I'm starting to sort of lean to the fact that he may want Ben Johnson. That Ben Johnson may actually end up being the guy here. The Raiders have put in an official request to interview the Detroit Lions offensive and defensive coordinators. This week, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn will begin conducting virtual interviews. They can't do in-person yet because of the playoffs, with teams seeking a head man to lead their organization. All right. Las Vegas made the decision to part ways with Antonio Pierce after a 4-13 season. Yada, yada, yada. All right. So here's where we're at. The Raiders that put in request, this is Albert Breer that put this out there per source. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn. So Vegas search is off the ground. All right. Well, here we go. Jordan Schultz. All right. Ben Johnson, it's a developing story. Ben Johnson to the dark side is loading up right now. Now, here's the thing. Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator of the Lions, declined to interview with the Patriots. Glenn will interview for 5 other head coaching vacancies. Now, a lot of people believe, well, that's because Ben Johnson really wants the Patriots job. Well, if that was the case, I would think he would turn down the interview with the Raiders. My feeling is, Aaron Glenn, 2 things happened. The sham Rooney Rule interview, and look, the Rooney Rule is a sham anyway. It's ridiculous. It's the stupidest rule ever. You should be able to hire who you want to hire. It's your business. Run it the way you want to. That's my belief, and and that's the way it is. So, in my opinion, the Patriots should have never had to interview Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton to begin with. But we know those are Rooney Rule interviews, and they followed the rules. So I'm not mad at the Patriots for that. They did what they had to do. They had to interview 2 minority candidates, got it the hell out of the way so they could hire either Ben Johnson or Mike Vrabel. I still think it's Mike Vrabel, all right? I do. And I think Aaron Glenn, I think he turned down the Patriots interview because he knows it's Ben Johnson or Mike Vrabel, all right? So why do it, all right? Why waste your time? Yesterday, the Patriots completed the interview with Mike Vrabel in Boston. It was done in person, by the way. The Ben Johnson interview is today. I believe it's this morning. All right. That interview is this morning. And then in the afternoon, he is doing a virtual interview with the Raiders. All right. And I'm talking about Ben Johnson, not Mike Vrabel. I don't know. Actually, there's been a lot of fire around Mike Vrabel and the Raiders and Tom Brady. I don't think there's been an official interview request there. And I wonder if that is everybody knows it's Mike Vrabel to the Patriots. That's all I could be thinking. Now, my feeling is if you really wanted Mike Vrabel, you shouldn't have let him leave town. Maybe he hadn't left town. I don't know. All right. But there was an interesting tidbit from Tommy Kernan on yesterday on the WEI afternoon show with Arkan and Andy Hart about the draft and personnel control and Mike Vrabel. Everybody knows Elliott Wolf is still there. There is some kind of a relationship between Ben Johnson and Elliott Wolf. Nobody knows exactly what that is, I don't think. At least I haven't heard it spelled out to a T. I found this very promising anyway. If you're pulling for Vrabel, it looks like Vrabel's still going to be the coach.
Who do you expect will be making the number 4 overall pick for the New England Patriots in the 2025 NFL Draft? Who will have that final say, final decision? Tom. Tom.
I know. I'm thinking.
Tom.
Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel. That's what I said a little bit ago.
Interesting.
I think Vrabel's going to have final say on the roster and the draft pick.
I think he ought to.
Let's go.
He ought to. And again,
Good answer.
can you go find that athletic story they did last week? Have you guys leaned on that at all with Vrabel? There was an athletic story. There was a story in the Athletic last week that really delved into. It was kind of one of those, hey, I'm out of work. Can we put my vision out there in a long story? And it's good, but they don't get to his vision until the last 4 paragraphs. And in doing so, they talk about the 3 things that Mike needs, and he articulates the 3 things. One is an ownership group that understands, that articulates what they expect. We articulate what we can do, and we can tell them how we're going to try and accomplish it. Okay, good. That's something I don't think that Mayo really had the opportunity to do in specifics. Mm-hmm. Second was to have a personnel department and somebody else who shares the vision of what the football team should look like, and that's in terms of X's and O's and team building and scheme. How the hell does he know whether or not Elliott Wolf shares that vision? And what has Elliott Wolf done that Mike Vrabel has probably read the headlines on for the last 3 weeks to say, wow, that's a guy I want to definitely work with? And then the third thing was to either have a quarterback in place or have a clear path to getting one. So the Patriots have 2 out of 3. And I think that Elliott Wolf in the personnel department has not draped itself in glory either in production that we can point to or in the amount of time they've spent finger pointing at an overmatched coaching staff. It's not their fault. They didn't decide Chuks Okorafor and Caden Wallace, the coaching staff, could play left tackle. That was the personnel department.
Okay, so very interesting there, I think. Now, Albert Breer was on one of the other radio stations, and he dropped sort of a bombshell about Gerard Mayo and the staff, the coaching staff. And he said he knows for an absolute fact the Patriots coaching staff was promised 3 years, that they were told point blank, and I guess this was multiple coaches, that they were going to get 3 years to turn this around. So that makes me think, and obviously Gerard Mayo was a dumpster fire. He should have gone because he should have never gotten the job to begin with. But that tells you also, I don't think they fire Gerard Mayo unless they already know who the next coach is going to be. And again, they got a second shot at Vrabel, and I think they have decided to take it. But we don't know that for sure. Until the man signed, sealed, and delivered, the Bears, the Jets, who, by the way, I saw some of the staff that Vrabel would be bringing with him to Patriots land, it's some guys that's already on the staff of the Jets right now. So I find that rather interesting. I mean, it's several guys that's already with the Jets right now. One's on the Raiders, actually. Two. So I saw that. Josh McDaniels was not on that, but people are swearing up and down he is the next offensive coordinator. He'll come with Vrabel if Vrabel gets the job. Ben Johnson talks to the Patriots today. So, but that's really interesting that so much fire has blown up around the Raiders and Ben Johnson and them firing. They fired Telesco for a specific coach in mind, I believe. But there's three that fit that criteria. All right, Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick. I mean, it is what it is. Sorry. Look, I'm a big Mike Lombardi guy, but until Bill kicks off on the day of college football, I'm gonna wait and see on Belichick. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.